and he will, of course, want to be present at Charlie Kirk's funeral, because the Make America Great Again movement will be burying really one of the high priests of Donald Trump's entire political cause.
Really appreciate you as always, Simon. Thank you very much indeed. Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent. 5:11 the time. Erol Morkoc joins us, Republican strategist and a friend of Charlie Kirk. Thank you very much indeed for coming on the programme, Erol. Obviously, we are sorry for your loss. Tell us how you knew Mr. Kirk.
Well, I met Charlie actually originally in Berkeley, but I became friends with him when he came to London, and I played a very small role in helping him launch Turning Point UK. And then he brought me as his guest with him to Mar-a-Lago, and then one of his Turning Point events. And at that event, I actually met my fiance, and we're getting married in December.
Congratulations.
At that very same place that Charlie brought us together. So, Charlie Kirk was a friend, he was a colleague, he was somebody, though I want to stress that he was 31 when he was killed. When we worked together, compared to who he is now, we were boys. He has a wife and 2 kids. It's you quickly grow up and you realize how quickly he grew up and was cut short. I'm a little bit older than him. And, he was kind, he was generous, he was a good man, he was a faithful man, and he wore his faith on his sleeve. And he believed that his soul was saved by his faith in Jesus Christ. And so with all of those things, I think above all else, Charlie Kirk was a human being, and he was somebody who prioritized debate and commiseration with other people. And so it's a very sad day for his family and for America as a whole.
It's difficult to say properly, because we still don't know who did this. We still don't know why they did it, although Simon pointed to a report in the Wall Street Journal this afternoon. But what does this killing say about America? What does it reveal about America?
Well, it reveals that the ideology that a lot of us grew up learning about and still believing, which is that free speech, like the reason why we have our Second Amendment, the tools that were able to kill Charlie, the ones that he defended, are also to defend the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech. And free speech went from something that we all shared to something that started to become abrogated. I mean, I've been castigated pejoratively as a free speech person. Because I believe that all speech is free speech, including hate speech. And that was something that the U.S. Supreme Court went down in Skokie. I mean, who cares what people say nice about you? It's about what they say mean about you. And the person who's pulling the trigger is the one who can't handle free speech. The aggressor is never the words. Never. No matter what the words are, the aggressor is always the one pulling the trigger. And
even if the words, hypothetically, Erol, even if the words call for some form of violence or are absolutely 100% completely and utterly racist?
Well, you're going to say, I mean, you've entered a slippery slope, because the answer to that is absolutely you should not be shot for any of the things you just...
No, of course, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter. If you come to me, I'm Turkish, and you say the most racist things in the world and berate me and my family, unless you have physically attacked me, I have no right to kill you. Now, you can say call to violence, and we can debate what all of that is, and I understand that you're saying that Charlie Kirk has said some provocative things. Now, he's somebody who went out into the social sphere. And in the social sphere, you have provocative things said back and forth. Mm-hmm. But there's never whataboutism where somebody's voice can be striked out with a bullet, regardless of what they said, including the people who hate me for who I am as a person. And that's fine. I don't have the right to kill you.
And again, we're speculating here, but if it is the case that the Wall Street Journal reporting is correct, and one of the motivations for this killer was the killer's position politically opposed to Mr. Kirk's position politically, what do you fear that could do to America?
Well, I think that what it is going to be sort of an awakening of you sort of have a situation where I forgot the exact term, but there's a sort of bias that people have, and then all of a sudden people realize that they agree with each other, and they've been sort of quietly agreeing with each other in secret. And just as you saw when Donald Trump, the assassination there, people who never put a sign out, who always were those quiet Trump voters you couldn't pull, those guys finally said, forget it. They put the sign out. A lot of people here who always, I have people reaching out to me who didn't know Charlie, who didn't really care about it, and they were emotional today. They said, I didn't realize how much this young man meant to me. And these aren't traditional voters. And also what Charlie did was he brought a lot of people into the movement young men young men who felt disaffected in the early part of the century, felt spit on, felt unwelcome to share their opinions. Charlie, he met, and I was older than him, so it was different for me because I didn't have that experience. When I was a kid, things weren't quite as different as just how different it was with that small generation gap and the way kids a little bit younger. But you saw that, and you saw how all of that sort of built this campus culture where there was only one answer. At UC Berkeley, if you didn't give the right answer, I mean, you guys know how bad student loan debt is in the United States. Well, imagine your family's taking an extra job, or you've taken a loan, you come to this university, and you want to get a good job. Well, those internships are closed to you if you don't say the right thing. Those professors aren't going to write you those recommendations. And all of the things that your family has hoped and dreamed and put on your back to come into college, well, if you're able to express your conservative viewpoints, you just close the door on your family. And all of that hard work and all of that money you've put on it, you're hampering yourself. So you needed to have a lot of courage or a lot of money to go out and do what Charlie did. And Charlie doesn't come from money. Charlie started this in his garage with $10,000 donation. It's a very humble story. He came from good family, but definitely not a rich family. And he closed a lot of doors on himself. He could be 31 years old right now as an investment bank or a consultant or whatever all these yuppie professionals did. But instead, no, he really, really cared about it. And he went and he did it, and he did it in a thankless way. And he ended up becoming famous and rich from it. That's not why he started. And people who knew him from the beginning know that's true.
Again, very sorry for your loss. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. Erol Morkoc is a Republican strategist and a friend of Charlie Kirk. If you've been fortunate enough to see the video of the shooting, I don't think anybody could be left unmoved by the violence of that moment where Charlie Kirk is shot dead on stage.